Every 2 to 3 years, one or two guys officially becomes a superstar in the NBA. During this period, while we're having a coming out party for the one or two guys who are able to reach a level that everyone dreams of, at the same time we have about the same amount of players exiting superstardom. After watching the NBA for over 20 years, I've noticed there's only room for about 10 to 15 superstars in the league. In the last 3 years, 2 players have exited superstardom, one due to injury in DeMarcus Cousins, the other due to age in Chris Paul. Now, guys can exit superstardom for different reasons. In the case of Deron Williams, he got paid and then got lazy. For Blake Griffin, it's a combination of injuries and of course the NBA changing and superstar power forwards pretty much being obsolete. While there are various ways a guy can exit superstardom, there's only about maybe 2 ways they can get in. The first way we'll call the Anthony Davis. For this route, a player is putting up MVP numbers for several years with little to no playoff success. And that's in addition to making all-star teams year in and year out. Trae Young and Devin Booker appear to be headed in this direction. Now, the other way that a guy can become a superstar, we'll call this route the Dwayne Wade route, simply because he's the perfect example of this. So for this route, a guy breaks out during the regular season, and then he either sustains or increases his level of play during the playoffs. Now, this is the fastest route to superstardom. Guys like Dwayne Wade, Derrick Rose, LeBron James, and even Carmelo were recognized as superstars because of taking this route. In this video, that's the only route we're going to be discussing. And now, for the 3 guys who have a chance to become superstars during the 2020 NBA playoffs. I'm Trey Khan, and this is Unpopular Facts. My content creator Reese and I, we put a lot of time, a lot of effort into these videos to ensure you guys are getting high accurate and high quality content. Not asking for tithes and offerings, just likes and subscriptions. Doesn't cost you anything, and it only takes 2 seconds. It helps the channel out a lot, and we really appreciate it. Now we've got a video out breaking down the format. I encourage you to go check that out to kind of see how everything is going to play out in the bubble in Orlando. First guy we're going to be talking about today is Luka Doncic. I have to say that I got it right with Luka Doncic. I remember a lot of people saying that he was going to be a bust, and I was one of very few people that said not only would he win Rookie of the Year, but he was going to be really good really fast. And my predictions on him were right. And honestly, I didn't even think he was going to be this good. And it really wasn't that hard for me to make this prediction on him, simply because this guy was 18 years old and he was MVP of the 2nd best league in the world. Now, I looked up the league that he played in, and I looked at some of the guys that were in the league, and come to find out, when you do your research on the league that he won MVP on, I can't think of the name right now, but in this same league, they're former NBA players that didn't even make the cut for this league. So you talk about an 18-year-old winning MVP in that league, yeah, he's the real deal. If I'm not mistaken, Nikola Mirotic turned down $50 million to go back and play in this league. And I have to say this before I go to breaking down how Luka Doncic can become a superstar. One thing that I've learned in life is that it's always wise to change before change comes. And a lot of these GMs have not changed their mindsets. In the 2018 draft, 2 bigs were taken before Luka Doncic. Now, 10 years ago and beyond that, that's acceptable. Typically in the past, when you drafted bigs and it didn't work out, or maybe there were just a bunch of guys after that big that you drafted that are better, you weren't faulted for this as a GM. But the Kings and Suns have been bad organizations, and so of course they're going to make bad decisions. Now I'm going to make another prediction again, and I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is when I say this, but Luka Doncic is going to be the face of the NBA. Trust me, I like Zion, I like Giannis, I like Jason Tatum, but his build is just so different, and quite frankly, we're overdue for a white guy to be the face of the league. It's been over 30 years since Larry Bird. But besides that, It's worth noting Luka Doncic is the first dominant foreign wing player. It's usually the bigs like Giannis, Dirk, Hakeem Olajuwon that come over and dominate. But we've never seen a wing player, or Luka Doncic is more of a point guard, come over and dominate and play at this level. But for Luka Doncic, if he sustains or increases his level of play, which I think that he will do, and if he makes it to the second round of the playoffs and plays well, he's a superstar. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's averaged 29, 9, and 9 during the regular season. The Mavs are currently sitting at the 6th seed right now, depending on who they face, and it looks like it's probably going to be either Utah, the Rockets, or the Nuggets. And all three of those are winnable series for Luka and the Mavericks. If he puts on a show, we might as well go ahead and start planning his party. Now, the other two guys that I'm going to name in this video are in the Eastern Conference, so it's going to be a little bit easier for them to reach that superstar level. But Luka Doncic, he's got a competent coach. I like Porzingis. He's healthy. I think the 3-month break, is going to do wonders for a guy who's been injury riddled. None of their players have tested positive that I know of. So the Mavs have a chance of going, deep in the playoffs, at least to the second round. And during this run, Luka Doncic has a chance to break out as a superstar. Next guy is going to be Jason Tatum. Now, he was drafted before Luka, and they were both taken with the 3rd pick in their respective drafts, 2017, 2018. Jason Tatum, currently a top 5 player in the Eastern Conference, hands down, but he can be the 2nd best player after Giannis. Okay, he can pass Embiid as the 2nd best player in the Eastern Conference this year and break out as a superstar. Now, Brad Stevens, and the Celtics, it's a blessing, and I think we're all thankful that Kyrie set them free. Jason Tatum, as much as I like him, I think he's probably the least likely to break out as a superstar, even though he has possibly the most upside of the 3 guys here. And that's even with Luka being drafted a year after him and Luka being younger than him. Because it's worth noting, Kyrie stunted the growth of a lot of those guys on that Celtics roster. But like I said, those guys are free now. The Celtics, they have 4 legit 20-point scorers. Okay, Gordon Hayward, Kemba Walker, and Jaylen Brown, and of course Jason Tatum. It's going to be harder to double team Tatum than it is going to be for Luka and the next guy I'm going to name. But for Tatum and the Celtics, they have a chance to go deep in the playoffs. Of course, Tatum has a chance to be a superstar. But of the teams that I'm going to name in this video, the Celtics have the highest upside as a unit. Of course, they're better than they are last year. And it's important to understand that the formula of the two-way wing duo, okay, LeBron and Wade, Jordan and Scottie, and now, of course, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, that combo has always worked when you talk about winning a championship. And if Tatum and Brown reach their full potential, they're going to win championships. Of all the dark horse teams, I would say the Celtics have the highest chance of making the finals. Pascal Siakam is going to be the 3rd guy. He's already proved that he can be the 2nd best player on a championship team, and this guy just continues to surprise us. You look back at that 2016 draft, I don't even think it's an argument. I think he goes number 1, and that's with Brandon Ingram breaking out. And of course, you guys know how I feel about Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is not a superstar. He will never be a superstar. Okay, go check out the video to see how I feel about him. I think after 3 years in the league, when you've had the same coach, same system, you've got minutes, okay, and you have the same production, it's pretty much, you've pretty much plateaued. Okay, Ben Simmons has peaked. Instead of working on his jump shot over the summer, he wants to be laid up with a Kardashian. I don't knock him for it. Just not my kind of guy. Pascal Siakam, on the other hand, is. This is a guy that got drafted 27th overall in his draft. Didn't get much playing time his first 2 years. Did show flashes of being a good NBA player. But in his 3rd season, they had a spot up for grabs and he snatched it. He won Most Improved Player last year. Of course, won the NBA championship last year as the 2nd best player, like I mentioned before. Got selected to his first All-Star team this year. We can all appreciate a good underdog story, and that is what Pascal Siakam's NBA career has been. When Kawhi left last year, we thought Toronto was done. The spot of the best player of the team was up for grabs, and Pascal Siakam snatched that up too. Now you look at the playoffs this year, he's set. I think him and Tatum are pretty much going to win their first round series, and those guys are set to face off in the second round. And between the Raptors and the Celtics, I'm going to take the Raptors. Now, from top to bottom, the Celtics are more talented. Okay, Kemba Walker, Gordon Hayward, like I mentioned before, Jaylen Brown, of course, Jason Tatum. Top to bottom, they're a more talented team, but top to bottom, the Raptors are a better defensive team. And I love Brad Stevens, I really do, but Nick Nurse has the best system in the league. And I could be wrong, but I believe the Raptors are the best defensive team in the NBA. These guys play zone, they play man, and top to bottom, they play defense. For Nick Nurse, if you don't play defense, you don't play. They still got a veteran like Marc Gasol. Okay, doesn't give you the offensive production that he once gave you, but he's still one of the best defensive bigs in the league. And I think people forget that Serge Ibaka's nickname used to be Serge Ibaka, and that's from leading the league in blocks. Almost averaged 4 blocks a game at 6'10". Of course, that was in his younger days in OKC. Now he's turned into more of a stretch big, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, Ibaka averaged a career high this past season at 30 or 31, however old he is. I think he's right at 30, 31 or 32 now. So the Raptors, and of course they still got Kyle Lowry, but the Raptors, they got something here, man. Now this past season, his efficiency did drop off. He shot 55% from the field last year, down to 46 this year. Don't let that scare you. Typically, when a guy takes on the reins as the best player on the team, he's going to face more double teams, and so that's normal. That's normal that, that first year their efficiency will drop off. And 46% is still good when you're averaging almost 24 a game. But if Siakam raises his level of play and gets this team either to the finals or conference finals, he enters top 10 without a doubt. But he has to win that series against Tatum. Okay, whenever he and Tatum face off in the second round, and I think there's about a 90% chance that's going to happen. Whoever wins that series is obviously the better player, and either of those players has to not only win that series, but they have to outperform the other. And I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction here. I'm going to say that Luka, he breaks through as a superstar. I think he's going to get to the second round and he's going to perform well in the playoffs. I'm going to say that he breaks through in the Western Conference. And like I mentioned before, between Tatum and Siakam, only one of those can break through. And I believe that's going to be Siakam. I think with the Celtics, you can run into that thing where when you have that many scorers, where there's too many mouths to feed. Now, all these guys, they've already been paid. Okay, Kemba Walker, Jaylen Brown have fresh, they have pretty fresh contracts. So it does play in their favor that no one's playing for a contract. Well, actually, I take that back. Tatum is actually playing for a contract, but I'm pretty sure it's clear he's a max player. Even if he does underperform, I still think he'll get the max. But you got guys on that team that love to shoot the ball. They've got a good coach, but I just don't think that it's not so much them. I just feel like the Raptors are just so well ran. Got guys like OG Anunoby, who's got career highs across the board. He's no slouch on defense. I didn't even mention Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry, he's been playing out of his mind. So I just got to give the edge to the Raptors. But we'll just have to see. That's going to be it for this video. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button as well as the notification bell. Helps out more than you may know, and it only takes 2 seconds. And always remember, drink water and save money in that order. Tricon Unpopular Facts. Till next time.